everybody. Before the video starts, I quickly want to make a note. I know this video is really late. I've tried recording this like multiple times and it's just not good. So we're just gonna go with this recording I made, which I recorded on election night, and it was also really late. So if I seem really stressed or I'm talking really quiet, that's why. Just to let you know, that's what's up. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the video and seem stressed and tired, Indy. Hey guys, it's me, Indigo, and I'm here today with another YouTube video. I'm in my headphones for this. It is election night, and to avoid watching it, I'm going to instead talk about the art I made for all of October. In case you don't know what this is, when you're artists, you don't know what Inktober is. Inktober is where you draw every day for a month in October, and you're supposed to use ink stuff, but I didn't do Inktober with two different challenges. I did Drawtober and I also did Olympian-tober, and I'll put the creators on the screen right here so you know who they are. Drawtober is when you have 6 prompts in October, and Olympian-tober is where you draw every day. That was like a simple Inktober. The reason I decided to do them both is because I really like the Drawtober prompt, and the Olympian-tober prompts I really wanted to draw Percy Jackson and get better at drawing those characters. So spending a whole month just like focusing on them is really good for artists, so that's why I decided to do that. And I finished it. For Olympian-tober, I was behind for 3 days. Or was behind like 3 days, and I constantly like made posts and art and try and catch up. I never caught up, but it was still fun to be drawing like every day, and it was something I kind of learned is I'm never going to be on time, but I can still like draw it. I did skip a couple of days because I planned it out before, and I'd leave like future prompts where if I didn't know what to do with them, I left them blank for future me to figure out. And in the end, I never figured them out, so I just skipped them. And that was a little easier. Skipping was okay, even though the creator said skipping's okay. So yeah. And Drawtober, I did not skip. I was behind for 1 prompt, but I caught up really fast. Because I've lost track of time. I thought it was a different day, and it was not. So I keep messing up my hair. It's doing a middle part, and I don't want it to do a middle part. Okay, that's fine. Let's talk about Drawtober right now. First day of Drawtober was carving, so I naturally drew a carved pumpkin. Drawtober, I was trying out a different style than what I usually do, which is usually I do like line art and then draw. This is complete like painting. There's no line art at all. Some of them have line art, but this I wanted to focus on like no line art. I think it turned out really good. I really like this drawing, especially the knife and the pumpkin, the little pumpkin parts. Yeah, I really like this one. Prompt 2 was Wicked Apothecary, and apothecaries are like pharmacists. So, and I asked my mom about Wicked Apothecaries, and she suggested do like really cool bottles and like make them like have some stuff in them, like some wicked stuff in them. I had to put some candles around, like some wicked candles that have some spells attached to them. So yeah, I just focused mostly on the bottles. Can we just appreciate though the skull I drew? The skull, it looks so good. I'm so proud of that part of this whole drawing. The candles look pretty good, but that skull right there is so good, and I'm so proud of it. The girl in the drawing, that was last minute. I don't entirely like it, but I decided to add it. a midnight feast. This is one of the drawings with line art. Midnight feast is just these vampires eating the midnight dinner. I tried putting some other stuff around, like some raw meat, a glass of blood, some donuts, and the donuts are inspired by, I don't know how many of you have watched Wizards of the Waverly Place, but Justin's girlfriend, I can never remember her name, she was a vampire, and they had jelly donuts, and she sucked out the jelly from the jelly donuts. And then that, for some reason, lives in my head, that whole scene. So yeah, I made them have blood-filled jelly donuts. I think the raw meat in this whole picture looks really good. Again, it's in that style, and I really liked how it looked in that little style with no line art. Next drawing, Inktober was folklore, and I didn't know any folklore. Someone said I looked up some, and the one I looked up was that kind of connected with me, and I really liked it. Was Leechy Slays the Serpent, and I'm gonna leave the story in the description down below for you to read yourself. But it's a really cool story. The snake turned out great. The cave turned out great. The little, what are they called, sticky rolls on there look really good. I'm mostly proud of the snake. Again, no line art at all. This is one of those drawings where I forgot what day it was. This is ancient ritual, and I don't know any ancient rituals, so I just drew. It was a day of, like the last day, and I talked to my mom and little sister to be like, what the hell do I do with this? And I spew a few ideas, but they're like, no, that's not good. And they just told me, just draw like 3 people over like a cauldron, and be in like the power of 3, doing like a little spell. So that's kind of what I did. Had like 3 people holding hands, only for focus on the one person in front. Had some smoke coming off of the cauldron. So have them hold hands. This is not my favorite drawing I've ever drawn. This is very messy, and I just don't like it. Next one, I think it's a little bit more fucked up, but my mom would laugh really hard at this. It is a Harvest Festival. I really like this drawing. I like this concept. I think it's really funny. It's still like kind of fucked up. It's a person selling pumpkins, and then these pumpkin people walk by, and this child is just staring at them like, what the hell? And this person's just standing there like, what did I do? So it turned out really good, and I really liked this drawing. That was the Inktober ones, and I really liked how they turned out. I'm definitely might mess with that style a little bit more with no line art. But now, let's talk about Inktober. Okay, day 1 was your demisona, which is like yourself as a demigod. I drew myself, drawing. You see I did the logo there, and put myself in overalls. I think it turned out fine. It's not my favorite drawing I've made of myself. I don't think I look like myself at all. There you go. It's myself as a demigod. My godly parent, in case you're curious, is Athena. I've also gotten as like Artemis as to be like a hunter, so that's pretty cool. I'm like a hunter who's also the daughter of Athena. I really like that. Next day was to draw your godly parent, and since I both got Artemis and Athena on the quiz multiple times, I just drew them both. And I think this is my favorite drawing I ever made of both Artemis, Miss, and Athena. I think it turned out really, really good, especially the background. I looked up what their signature colors were, and I think it came out really good. And that's where I found this is called, the background is a damp brush. I would use that more as like a background. Next it was favorite character, and it's no surprise that my favorite character is Percy Jackson, and I didn't want to draw him right now. I wanted to draw more of a underrated favorite character, which is Frank. I really like him, and even though I haven't finished the series, I instantly connected with him, and I fell in love with his character. I think his backstory is just so interesting, and I just love him. And I wish I saw more appreciation for him, so that's why I drew him. Next day was a mask, and finally I drew Percy. And it's just him wearing a mask, giving it a thumbs up. I'm pretty sure the anatomy is super wrong, but nobody talk about it. And just saying, like, wear a mask. I do believe this is the best Percy I've ever drawn. Probably not body-wise, but face-wise, it's really, really good. Next day was crossover. I decided to draw a crossover between Among Us and Percy Jackson, and then Percy just calling Luke yellow is sus. Something about that was really funny to me. I did ask for some help on what their usernames would be on Among Us, and I put Percy as for sassy, that felt right, and whatever he is, Luke as backbiter for his sword, and Annabeth was just architect. The next day was mermaid. Drew Percy as a mermaid meeting Annabeth at a dock. I think it turned out really good. And there's not much to say. This took the longest. I almost missed this day. Next day was godly parent switch, and I didn't know what to do. I thought I was gonna be switching my godly parent, and I even asked online what to do, and somebody said to switch Jason's and Piper's. Jason was gonna be, this is his name, Hades, and Piper was gonna be daughter of Dionysus. I think it's how you say his name. It's Mr. D. And I think it turned out pretty good. That's the first time I drew Piper. I think the only time. I didn't think I drew her again after that. But yeah, I think Jason turned out really good. I draw him again and I think it turns out terrible. And I think their outfits are pretty bad. Also, Jason's is really bad. I just put him in a leather jacket and gave him a skull necklace, and that's it. But I could have done more, but I was running out of time. Okay, next day was meme, and instead I did a audio on TikTok that I really liked. I'm not going to play the audio because the video has since been deleted, but I do know what the audio said because I did my own video. I'm not going to show it because of cringe reasons. Just the picture is just Leo, Jason, and Percy, and it's Leo saying, "Percy, you're literally like kind of bi. So that means you got like all the people in the world you could go for, yet you're still a virgin. What are you doing wrong? Hey man, don't say that." Jason, sad music plays, suddenly emotional, laughing. I think it turned out really good. The prompt that I skipped was gender bend, and that's kind of a transphobic prompt, so I skipped it for obvious reasons. Next day was people of color appreciation, and I drew Hazel, and I think this came out so good. I think it turned out super good for like I haven't drawn a lot of people of color, but I've been trying to practice and get better at it and learn how to do it correctly. And this was my first time like posting to my drawings of it, and I think it turned out really good. And I think she came out really cute. I may make this like a sticker you can buy on Redbubble. You can check there to see if I've done that yet. The next one was statue. I didn't know what to do with this one. I just did a digital sketch of Terminus, who is the guard of Camp Jupiter. So yeah, I just did him. I think he came out pretty good for drawing a guy's chest. This is the first time I've ever drawn it. and a face. I think it turned out pretty good. Next day, I hate this drawing with all my passion. I hate it so much, and it's Disney. And I decided to draw Percy with his little sister, and his little sister asking, "Is Ariel your sister?" And I've seen a couple comment about that, if Ariel would be Percy's sister, and she's a daughter of Poseidon. And yeah, I don't like this drawing. I think Estelle looks really bad. Percy just doesn't look right. It's not my favorite drawing I've done for this whole challenge. Like, the whole background looks really bad too. Next thing is blue food, and in case no one has seen, let me see if I can grab my book. In case you don't know, one day I packed all my books when I moved, and I packed all of my bookmarks, so I didn't have any left, so I had to make some, and I made this little bookmark right here with a bunch of foods, and I really like how it turned out, so I made a whole bunch of others and made them into stickers. And so I decided to do the same style, but do it digitally and make all the foods blue. I did a couple of new foods, such as a croissant and a other food I don't know the name of right now off the top of my head. I think it was a cake. I don't think I had cake in there. I think it turned out really good. Next day was constellation, and I had to draw Zoe's constellation in the sky. It's inspired by his poem, which is called Shoulders by Shane Coygan. If you ever seen that video, go watch it, you'll understand why I think it's this way. I think it turned out really good too. Next day was underrated, and the reason I drew Leo, because the whole fandom loves him. You might be confused why I drew Leo. I was talking to someone, and they made a post saying they wish more people asked them to rate Leo. And so I was surprised to hear that. I know a lot of people love Percy and Jason, so I just had to show my appreciation for Leo and draw him. Next day was sibling, and since I hated that drawing Disney, the day Disney, I had to redraw Percy and his little sister. I still don't really like this drawing that much. Percy still just looks wrong. His body looks wrong, the whole position looks wrong. But it's just Percy saying this is not only a pen, which is making reference in the movie where he's just...
Defend yourself. It's a powerful weapon. Guard it well. Only use it in times of severe distress.
This is a pen. This is a pen.
And saying this is just a pen. This is a pen. So yeah, I think Estelle turned out really cute, but I definitely need to work on Percy a little bit more. Today I didn't know what to do with this one. It just said lyric. So I just drew Riptide with the lyrics of Riptide to it, because I always associate that song with Percy Jackson. And I think it suits pretty well as a song for it. So, yeah. Next day was cover, and I didn't really know what to do with this one, so I just recreated one of the covers that I really like, and it's from the Techniques Curse. I really like that cover, and I also really love that book, so I decided to recreate it. Do a scene. This is really messy. I'm definitely going to recreate a cover, but this is just an idea right now. But I really like how it turned out. This was Roman to Greek switch. The next day was that. And I just switched over Hazel and Nico. This was inspired by this TikTok right here. I'm gonna play it because it's not mine.
Alone at the edge of a universe, humming a tune with sparkling crystal souls aglow. A part of thee in the key of what we know to be every part without me knows only two can make it light. You'll live forever tonight.
show the difference between like the Roman children for some Roman children from the Greek version, and I decided to switch them because that one, Children of Hades, was more like dark and goth, and then Children of Pluto wore more jewelry, they wore a lot of gold, so that's why I put Nico in like a lot of gold and jewelry. For a crystal, he's like holding a little thing of like a diamond and an emerald. Hazel, I think she turned out really cool. Like a choker, jacket, ring, her hair like dyed red. It looked really cool. I think she turned out really cool. This day was non-demigod Allie, and I drew Rachel there. I really love Rachel. I really connect to her as a person. So I had to draw her and drew her with a bunch of paint all over herself. And her curly, just insane red hair. So I loved her. The background is not my favorite, but the drawing of her is really good, in my opinion. The next day, I can't remember what day this was. But this day was genre, and I didn't know what to do with it. And at that point, I was watching a lot of Outlast, and I thought, okay, horror is a genre, and Outlast is also a genre. It's not only a horror one, it's also a found film one. So I kind of just put the main crew, like Percy, Annabeth, and Grover, in the setting of Outlast, with the "Your Little Piggy" text right there. Yeah, here we go. Nothing to say much about that one. I feel, yeah, that's it about them. That drawing. It's not the best, but it's what I did for that day because I didn't know what else to do. Next drawing was Decade, and I was originally going to be drawing everyone else in the setting of that Samurai show, and just take this picture right here and just recreate it with Percy Jackson characters. But it took too long. I just took a pose and I just put Hazel in the clothing of 70s clothing that I found on Pinterest. That's all I did. Still want to do that drawing someday, but we'll see. See what happens. Next day was LGBTQ appreciation, and I don't know anyone else who is LGBTQ except for Nico. I know Alex is gender fluid, and Magnus is pansexual, I believe, but I don't know them, so I just focused on more of the Percy Jackson, the Olympians, and the Heroes of Olympus series. So I just drew Nico. This is the probably worst drawing I've drawn of him. I'm gonna remake this, but the hair is not right, the face is not right, it's just everything about this is not right. We're just gonna skip by that. I'm just gonna redraw that someday. Next day was death, and of course I need to do the death of Zoe in the Titan's Curse. I still cried this scene. It's still really emotional. Especially that last sentence of her that Percy said. That was soul crushing. So I just drew her covered in blood with Artemis and Talia. Talia? I think that's her name. That's how you say her name. Just holding her hand, just being there with her, because she did hold her hand the whole time. And she was holding onto her side, and she was holding her breast. I read through the scene until I made sure I got the posing right. And yes, I did tear up a little bit. Next day was Monster. And I couldn't think of any other monster than Tyson, and I love Tyson. He's the cutest. He always just makes me smile. So I had to draw him. I left a sketch on an accident, but I kind of liked it with the sketch. You kind of figure where everything is going. But I think it turned out really good, and he's just so cute. I love him. Alright, so to explain this day. This day is the original character, and so I drew, me and my friend, we've created some original characters for Percy Jackson. So this is Airly and Leah. That's how you're saying your name is Leah. So Airly is Beverly Wessex is a daughter of Demeter. How does that hard to say? She obsessed with plants. Plants is her personality. She's really bubbly and kind of naive, but she is really smart and she loves learning, and she's not the best fighter, but she wants to learn, and Leah is the one who's teaching her. And Leah is the daughter of Hestia, which I learned a little bit later about this, how when Demetrius' daughter was missing, I can't remember her name right now, I don't know why. When she was missing, I learned later that Hestia actually helped her to try and find her, and I was like, oh, it's kind of interesting that our two characters have that small connection. But yeah, this is Leah. She doesn't go by her first name, so I just call her Leah. But yeah, she's the daughter of, I got them mixed up. She's the daughter of Kate. So yeah. Whoops, not Hestia, it's a Kate. I'm pretty sure she still helped her with finding her daughter. But yeah, I drew them both. They're really cool. These are ones. Okay. There is no speed paint of them. I didn't have time. I had a headache. I didn't want to stare at a screen anymore, so I just did these quick sketches. I'm going to put them on the screen. But the last few sketches were winter, so I just drew Sally with Percy, just looking at his jacket, he's a little kid. Next day was the wedding, so I also drew Sally with Paul, and then little wedding. We didn't see that. We just, the next book, once he proposed to her, they got married. Next day was Halloween costumes, so I drew Annabeth as a toothbrush. This is making reference to Jenna Marbles. I was gonna draw Percy as a space cowboy, the costume Julian wore, but I decided not to at the end. But yeah, those are all the drawings I drew for Drawtober and Olympiantober. If you want to follow my Instagram, it is OshaGirl with 2 G's. That's going to be linked down in the description down below. If you want to see more content like this, that's artish or bookish content, go click that subscribe button down below. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and yeah, bye guys.